Good afternoon, commissioners and administrators. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me today. I really appreciate that. I'm here today with a number of Montgomery County, on behalf of a number of Montgomery County citizens who are deeply concerned about the safety and well-being of our children. In the past 3 months, there have been 4 children who have died from suspected child abuse and/or neglect. December the 13th, 2019, 10-year-old Takoda Collins died from what investigators called years of extreme abuse, rape, and torture. January the 9th, 2020, a 4-month-old girl, Mackenzie Turwell, died from bleeding to death from being mauled by the family dog while her mother was asleep on the couch. February 5th, 2020, 2-month-old Gabriel Klaus died from skull and rib fractures. And on February the 6th, a 4-month-old child whose death is still under investigation. 3 months, 4 children. It is clear that there are changes that need to be made. We cannot continue business as usual. Action is needed now before we lose another innocent, defenseless child. Now is the time to act. We are fully aware of Governor Mike DeWine's order to the state to review all alternative response cases over the past 6 months within Montgomery County Children's Services. While we believe this is a step in the right direction, we do not believe it is enough. We believe that change is greatly needed here on the local level, and that is why I am here today. We, as a group, Takoda Call, of course, because of Takoda Collins, but I'm standing here today on behalf of all children that are in the system. It's heartbreaking. My heart is pounding 1,000 beats a minute right now. I've heard horror stories since we started our group, and we've got to find answers. It takes everyone working together. So on behalf of the Montgomery County citizens, we respectfully ask that you appoint an external ombudsman to replace the Fair Board within Montgomery County Children's Services. Number 2, immediately reinstate the Citizens Review Board. And then number 3, that you appoint an independent review committee of professionals outside of Montgomery County so that you remove all bias, political bias, similar to what you did a few years ago with the county jail. When there was an investigation, you appointed outsiders to do a review of the jail. Our children deserve the same attention and time. These are innocent children who have been in a storm, hell. I can't even imagine the trauma that these children go through. You know, their circumstances is normal. When they get pulled out of their homes, they're living life, and the abuse that they suffer, as harsh and cruel as it is, it's normal to them. And then they get jerked out of the home that's normal to them, and then they go from one home to the next to the next. But we don't need to get in on all that today, on all of the problems. How can you fix something without performing a root cause analysis? Without this, we keep repeating the same things that aren't working. These 3 initiatives, I believe, will provide checks and balances within the system, will provide accountability, safety net for children who may fall victims to overworked caseworkers, to caseloads that are, I don't know how high they are. I mean, I'm not a social worker. I'm just a concerned citizen. And it will rebuild trust and confidence within the citizens of Montgomery County. In our group, people call out, what do we do if we come across a child that we see that's being neglected or abused? Who are we going to call? They feel like they can't call Children's Services because they're not going to do anything. Now, you know, I don't know if that's true or not. I'm not here to just, you know, beat up people, point fingers. I'm here to look for solutions. Identify the problems We are fully aware, if I could just have a few more minutes, please. We are fully aware that all children's service case records are confidential. We're not asking for specifics on those cases. We are asking for transparency. We are asking for accountability. We're asking for fresh eyes to identify the problems. And as a community of business people, citizens, lawmakers, link arm in arm and let's find the answers. We implore you, Commissioner Dodge, Commissioner Lieberman, Commissioner Rice, to make these 3 initiatives your top priority. Don't pass us off to someone else. Please listen to the heart. I'm speaking to the heart of foster care parents, the good ones, the ones that care, that don't do it for the money, but they love the children. One last thing. Lost my notes, sorry. I would ask each of you to pick up a copy of this book, Invisible Children, or Kids. It was written by Holly Schlack. I believe I'm pronouncing her name correctly. She was in the Hamilton County system. She overseed CASAs there, I believe. And this book, I just can't put it down. It's so informative. The second thing, I'm going to close with this, I promise, is if you would please consider making these meetings more accommodating for the working people. We have people in our group that would love to be here today, nurses and teachers, but they can't because they're at work. And I would just ask you to consider maybe making at least 1 meeting a month or 2 meetings a month after business hours, if you can arrange. I know that's probably it would be a big feat to do, but if you could please do that to so that everyone can have a chance and come and listen and learn. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. You know, Polly, you have to understand, the 3 of us here, in fact, everyone here, we're just horrified and saddened by what has happened the past several months. And in January, we insisted on an internal review of the children's services. As you know, the state has come down and also investigating this at the prosecutor's office. So, you know, there are plenty of investigations going on, no questions about it. Unfortunately, we cannot talk about much of this because it is still under investigation. So we really appreciate you coming and your passion with all the other people that are involved in this. I know it's very emotional for everybody. So I believe our county administrator might have a few things to say.
Polly, I'd like to say also, I want to echo Commissioner Dodge's comments. We look forward to working with you, and I put emphasis on with. We, unfortunately, are in a state-supervised, county-administered system, which limits, as you already know, some of the information that we can share. But by all means, I just want you to know, both from the administration and from the commissioners, we champion what you are trying to do in making the system better. And although none of us were involved in these individual cases, from the standpoint of what happened, we want the system to be better. So I'd like to be able to address, if you would allow me, individually each of your areas, and if you want to, you can go ahead and have a seat. I just want to go over some key pieces, and then afterwards, we have prepared for you a handout with state section of code, because in order to move the ball forward in this arena, it is going to take a team effort, and it will, in fact, take state legislative action. I don't say that in an effort to pass you off. I say that in an effort that we can be advocates with you and working with the governor and working with the General Assembly. I know you're working with State Representative Phil Plummer. We can all work together to make substantive change in the system. So if I could, I know one of the areas, you talked a little bit about the external evaluation or having an external review of the system. As the commissioner just mentioned, the commissioner authorized us to investigate children's services and to do some level of review or inquiry, and we partnered with Ohio Department of Job and Family Services on that. So they became the external reviewer, if you will. The state has come in and they have worked on a series of recommendations and report that has been turned over to the county prosecutor. And all of the information around that, because that is an ongoing report, is confidential. Additionally, you already talked about the fact that the governor has ordered the review of all of our alternative response cases for the last 6 months. Additionally, as we continue down this path, some of the areas that we can work together on, we want to make that change, and in order to do that, we're going to need you and us to partner on changing both state law and state rule to do that. You talked about reinstatement of the Citizens Review Panel. That panel was previously in juvenile court, so it was a court system, not under the county commissioners. And it is positioned within the court system by statute. But it also notes that the state governs the review panels only to review children's services cases that are in custody. So in order for us to start externally reviewing some cases that haven't been brought into custody, again, we will need some level of state law change. And then finally, you talked about the ombudsman. And I think you met Diane, who's sitting right behind you. But we also have a internal ombudsman through the FAIR process, or the Family Advocacy Intervention and Review Office, that reviews all of our child welfare cases that are referred to them. Citizens can reach out if they are concerned by calling 937-224-KIDS. And then finally, the Governor's Transformation Office on Child Welfare. If we're going to move any of these things, Polly, we've got to work with them. We've got to work with our state legislators. Our commissioners, every time they go to Columbus and they go to CCAO, the County Commissioners Association of Ohio, and all three of our commissioners are very active there. They work not only to bring more dollars into the child welfare system, but also to help make some of these changes. So again, we have illustrated in our handout, which Kevin Lavoie will be passing out to you, and it has the sections of code. If you want to work with our team, and if you want to work with the legislative process, and you want to work with the Governor's Transformation Office, I think we could probably pick off some things in here that could make the system better for all of us statewide. And we can be an advocate towards that. Keep in mind, the commissioners, unfortunately, we're not the lawmakers, and we don't make laws here locally. But what we do, because this is a closed system, is we advocate for change based on the citizens. And we're fortunate that we've got 3 commissioners that are very active in doing that statewide. So we welcome you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for bringing your concerns to us. And we look forward to working with you. Thank you.